What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down the 3 pillars of route running. So I know a lot of you guys have been asking about this, about beginners, wide receivers, you're new to the position, and what are some things that kind of help you break down some of the main concepts and the big ideas of playing this position to help you improve. So I hope this video helps you guys out. We're going to be covering all the things from top to bottom that you guys can do to get separation on every single route. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to know the things you need to do to improve on these aspects of route running when it comes to drills, on-field workouts, check out that very first link in the description below for our 4-week wide receiver on-field workout schedule 2.0. So what you'll get access to is over 100 plus wide receiver drills with an explanation breaking down each drill, showing a full speed example, and we give you the exact sets and reps to do on a daily basis. So if you guys want an on-field training schedule, check out that very first link below. Let's get started with this video. So this route here is from Stefon Diggs, and I think that this is probably the best route to showcase everything that we believe in, everything that we teach, because a comeback route is one of those routes that you have to be precise on. So when it comes to route running, the first pillar, the first phase is being able to sell vertical. So you may hear myself talk about that a lot. You may hear other wide receiver coaches say, hey, you need to sell fade, you need to sell 9. Everything's a fade until it's not. That's a popular phrase. But what does that actually mean? What a DB is going to be looking for when he is in man coverage is where? His eyes are going to be on your hips. He's going to be trying to read your body language. So the first thing that you have to make sure that you do when trying to sell vertical on a route is make sure that you have a good pad level. So leading up into that break, whenever you hear myself or anybody say pad level, I mean exactly this. I mean that you're not raising up your chest. You're not running super tall with your chest pointed up in the air. But mainly, it's more so like at the break point. Like, let's say this comeback is at like 15 yards, right? You don't want to get to about 13 yards and start to raise your chest up, start to expose the numbers, I like to say, because when that DB sees you raise up, he's going to start to slow down and be able to make a break on this ball. So you have to make sure, number one, when it comes to that first phase of the route, it comes down to selling fade with that body language. Now, there's 2 other things that I like to implement when it comes to selling fade, and that is the second one is running hard. So what I mean by running hard is you don't need to be faster than this DB. You just need to be running as hard as you possibly can. So that doesn't mean, super out of control, wild, but you need to be running hard. You need to be selling fade, because when you run a deep ball, or a deep route, I should say, and that deep ball is thrown to you, how are you running? You're running hard. So you have to make it look the exact same. Everything's a fade until it's not a fade. One of the key things that I tell some wide receivers that seems to help them think about it is I say, think about the stem like you were chasing a ball that's overthrown. I'm sure as a wide receiver, you've all been put in that situation where that ball has been put over your shoulder and it looks like it's out of reach, so you kick into second gear to go grab it. That's what we need to think about. So you're running up into that 15-yard break. Let's think of it like I'm chasing that ball. Now, the last part that goes into selling fade, so obviously we need good body language, we need to be running hard, and we need to be running in full stride. So what do I mean by that? I mean that when you get up to that, it's all about, fellas, when it comes to this first phase of the route, it's all about eliminating indicators. Indicators is what we do that lets the DB know a break is coming. DB is one of the hardest positions on the field, maybe in all of sports, because they're guessing and they're playing backwards. So if you give anything away, that's what they're looking for. But if you don't give anything away, that position is extremely tough to play. So when you're leading up into a break, same thing as like the pad level raise that we were talking about. You don't want to be getting up to 15 yards, then at 13, you start shortening your stride and taking all these choppy steps. Now, I put a video out on this a little while ago, and everybody's like, oh, well, you want to take choppy steps if you're going to be running a fade to get this DB to stop his feet and then go run. Well, yeah, I'm not saying that that's incorrect. I'm saying that when you're running a route like a comeback, like a 10-yard out, like a curl, what good does chopping your steps do? You can't change the route in the middle of the dang play. You can't just say, oh, well, the DB slowed down, I'm just going to go run a fade. That's how you lose chemistry and the quarterback never gives you the ball again. So we have to maintain that stride to make it look like a deep route. When I'm running underneath, I'm running a comeback, a curl, a sit route, I want this DB to think fade. So your stride does that. If he feels your stride start to shorten and you take all these baby steps prepping for that second pillar, which is the break, he's going to sit on that route. So make sure, fellas, three things to sell phase 1: body language, stride, and speed. Now, second part of the route, second pillar of route running is obviously the break point, right? So when you get to that break point, it is a lot easier said than done to change direction while being able to hit that first phase, first pillar of the route. Perfect. right? A lot of people can self-fade, but then a lot of people can't change direction. You see it a lot of times with really fast wide receivers, like, like Tyreek Hill type guys that got blazing speed, but then when it's time to change direction, everything goes out the window. They lose the speed, they take too much time at the break, and they lose separation. We have to be able to sell that route, but also change direction quickly and violently. So how you guys do that, whether it's a route like a post route, whether it's a comeback route, you have to be sudden with your change of direction. So you see Stefon Diggs, he's running a comeback, right? So when you're running a comeback, that's a route where you're dropping your hips. You're trying to drop your butt down. You're trying to get low, because when you guys can get low, that helps you do what? That helps you make a sharper cut. But more importantly, when you get low quickly or violently, you have that snap down, and that's that like violent drop of your hips, that snap down. That helps you change direction while running full speed. See, a lot of people get low. A lot of people get to that low spot, no problem, but they'll have a slow sink of their hips. And when you have a slow sink of your hips, you're not creating any energy. You're not stopping on a dime, and that gives the DB more time to react. That second phase of the route, that break point, is all about being efficient and getting rid of wasted motion. Those are the two main keys. So when Diggs drops into this, you see it snap. It's a violent drop. His whole body weight is coming down. So he can make a tight cut, but him getting low right away is like an energy source to get him into that third phase, which is the acceleration phase. Now we're gonna talk about that in a second, but how would this apply if you were running a route like an out route, for example? So like, let's say you have this DB in this same scenario. You got his hips to flip, you're selling vertical, you're running in full stride, but you got to cut off of your left foot and run an out route. So rather than us dropping our hips, we would just plant that foot in the ground and go. But it's the same thing. You want to make sure that we're sudden with the foot. You're sudden with the foot strike. I heard somebody say this the other day, and I love this analogy. Like, you've probably all seen a boxer throw a jab before, right? It's quick, it's twitch, there's a lot of twitch to it, it's sudden. You want to think of it like you're jabbing the ground with your foot. You're going to just plant and put that foot right in the ground right now. It's inside your frame. You're not reaching outside your frame, but the suddenness of the movement and the foot strike, like the solidness of the foot strike, will help you get out of it. So, fellas, that second phase, make sure that we have that speed into the break. Don't slow down to prepare, and be sudden. Sudden with the foot strike, sudden with the hip drop to get you to that third phase, which is acceleration. Now, when you guys get low and you're able to make this tight cut, a lot of people will do this and then they just pop up. Whether they're running that out route, whether they're running a comeback, whether they're running a post, they will make that break, they'll get separation, and then they just jog. Fellas, that's icing on the cake. Nobody wants cake without icing. You don't want to run, you don't want to just cruise out of the break and jog. We have to widen the distance with that DB on any route. So you make that break point, think of it like wherever that ball is, it is a race to that spot, you and the DB. There's a finish line going across that line, and we have to go run through the line before the DB does. That's how we ensure that the DB won't recover, because that's what DBs work on. They work on recovery speed, and we have the same speed out of the break, so the quarterback knows that maybe he could throw me open a couple times. Maybe when we run this break, this guy doesn't fall and he's right on my hip, but the QB knows I'm coming out with some speed and he can lead me. That's how you build timing, and that's how you build chemistry. So fellas, make sure we get those three facets of route running down, and you guys will be very, very, very tough to guard. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Top to bottom, this is exactly what we want. Good stride, good pad level, good body language, good speed, sudden break point, and he accelerates. All right, fellas, really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. Always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you'd like a daily 4-week-long wide receiver on-field workout schedule, everything wide receivers need to do on the field for route running, press releases, the works, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.